Finance Minister Arun Jaitley says the government will unleash a spate of reforms to give a big push to economic growth. Speaking exclusively to ET Now in New York, Jaitley said India can grow much faster than the current level of 7 to 7.5%, and the government is restless to ensure higher growth targets for the economy in the coming years. Jaitley was on a 9-day visit to the US, said there is still a lot of excitement on the ground, and going forward the government will focus on big bang reforms, especially in sectors like infrastructure and manufacturing.
Making a strong pitch to foreign investors, the government will work overtime to make sure that their concerns are indeed addressed. According to the Finance Minister, the principal concern of global investors is about political and policy stability, and the government will not legislate anything that is retrospective. The Finance Minister says he does not expect the Parliament to be a barrier to reforms, even though the Bharatiya Janata Party does not have a majority in the upper house. Arun Jaitley's high decibel pitch to foreign investors and what it means for the economy and the markets at large is our top story right here on Business Tonight.
No, I think there's a lot of optimism. There is a lot of realism. Optimism because India's economy is one of the few global economies which is growing at the level at which India's economy is. And the future prospects also look brighter. But then they are also realistic because investors will always put their monies where there is a reasonable possibility of growth and return. And of course, India is one of the better prospects in the world today.
Okay, and you know what kind of concerns that global investors are raising?
I think the principal concern of global investors is they want stability of policy. Policy in terms of taxation, policy in terms of stability which will ensure that nothing which is out of the ordinary happens and businesses move on predictable lines.
Okay, so then one last thing, how will the Fed's decision to rate hikes move the needle for India?
I think the impact of any monetary easing in the US is global, and therefore India can't be immune to it. But I think, is India better prepared today than it was in the past? Of course it is.
Nobody is very excited about a 7.5% growth rate in India. Because everybody realizes, including me, including the Prime Minister, that probably our potential is a little higher than that. And therefore, having covered this distance, I think the next 2-3 years are going to be very critical. Because a series of reform steps which are in the pipeline have all to be implemented. We now have identified all the problem areas, and I think one by one as we go resolving most of them, hopefully we should reach what our destination targets are. We intend to make a major shift. There are direct tax rates for corporate tax, which is the mainstay, come down to 25%. And 25% is fairly globally competitive. Otherwise, because in our neighborhood, that's what broadly the tax rates are, if not lower. So we couldn't afford to live with a much higher taxation regime because that would distract investment coming into India. Now, it's a very difficult reform, particularly because populist politics thinks that it's a big concession you are making to industry, but eventually that's where jobs are going to be created as a result of the investment. Indirect taxation is going to be the GST formula. A consensus has been reached. It's been passed by one House of Parliament. It required a 2/3 majority. It's pending before the other one. The other House has sent it to a committee. The committee is currently functioning. And broadly, the majority support in the committee seems to be for the bill. And therefore, in the course of the next few weeks, when the Parliament meets again, this will come up before the upper house. It will then require ratification of 50% of the states, which I don't see as a much of a problem. Then to implement it, it will require 3 other supporting legislations. So I'm running against time because I intend implementing it with effect from 1st April 2016. So this reference to the committee has actually shortened the window of time available to me.
Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/ETNow and don't forget to click the like button. You can also follow us on Twitter at ETNowLive. To stay updated with all our programming, hit the subscribe button on our YouTube channel by logging on to youtube.com/user/ETNow.